Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on June 29th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 1, 5, 16, 22, and 54. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they are. Okay, so the 1 is green, the 5 is orange, the 16 is red, the 22 is purple, and the 54 is purple. Okay, so I'm going to color those in. So again, the 1 was green, the 5 was orange, the 16 was red, and the 22 and 54 were purple. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. I have 2 purple, 1 red, 1 orange, 1 green for 4 colors total. Okay, so up here I'm going to make this 344 color code drawings I kept track of so far. Okay, and now a 4 color combination has now come up 118 times. Okay, but what I want you to look at here is the 3 color combination. This has come up 184 times. Okay, so if you do some quick math and divide 184 into 344, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. So my color code is right here. These are all the red numbers, the orange, green, blue, and whatever's left is purple. Okay, so basically what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 different colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? And that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers, okay? And this is the last 3 drawings in numbers, and the reason why that is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers, okay? So again, I'm going to start in with the 1, the 5, 16, 22, and 54. And the next line is 3, 6, 11, 14, 66. And the next line after that is 4, 18, 21, 26, 38. So again, I'll make these red numbers, all right? So you can see the last 3 drawings, the majority of the numbers are in this area right here, okay? And hardly any in this area down here, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the orange numbers, okay? And I'm going to start with the 8. Then the next number is 11, and you can see it's already taken by the red. 14 is taken. 16 is taken. 49. And then the 5 is taken, 35, 38 is taken, 42, 57. Then the next line is 9, 13, 42, which is already taken, 48, 60. Then the last one in orange is 17, 23, 28, 34, 38, which is already taken. So I'll make those orange numbers, and now I'm going to count how many red numbers I have first. Okay, so I got 3 and 3 is 6, and 2 is 8, 2 is 10, and 5 is 15. Okay, and now I'm going to count the orange numbers. Okay, so I got 1 and 3 is 4, 1 is 5, and 5 is 10, 11, 12, 13 orange numbers. Okay, so I think you get the gist of what's going on here. So what I'm going to do is, just to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. And you can see that this is the updated game card for June 29th, 2019. Turned out to be 15 red numbers, 13 orange, 16 green, 15 blue, and 10 purple numbers. Okay, so again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. Okay, so that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up. And that's what I want to focus on here. Okay, so again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess what color will not be coming up and eliminate that color group off of the game card. Okay, so you can see that all 5 colors, they do come up. It's come up 12 times out of 344 drawings. Okay, so it has come up, but it's very rare. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a prediction on what color will not be coming up. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with no red numbers. Okay, so, and the reason why, and I just want to say that, we're all going to look at this differently. Okay, so we're all going to come up with a different result. But for me, I don't think any red numbers are going to come up, because when I look from here down to here, you can see a bunch of red numbers. So I'm just trying to predict what the ebb and flow will be, and I just don't think any red numbers will be coming up. Okay, so I'm going to block out these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so when I block out a number like this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these red numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet and none of these red numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and I divided it into 7 different groups. Okay, so this is group number 1. You can see it holds the numbers of 1 through 9. This is the only group with 9 numbers. All the others have 10 for 69 numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to update this here. So you can see that the 1 and 5 came up. So I'm going to find the 1. And I'm going to make this square green because the number 1 is green. Okay. And the number 1 is green because the color code said it was green. Okay. So I'm also going to find the 5. And I'm going to make this orange. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out how many groups it hit in the last drawing. So you can see that the 1 and 5 are in this 1 through 9 group. The 16 is in the teen group. 22 is in the 20 group, and the 54 is in the 50 group, for 4 groups total. Okay? So the reason why I do that is I want to correctly guess how many groups it's going to hit in the upcoming drawing here. Okay? For the most part, it usually comes up a 4, okay? 3 comes up the second most, okay? And then a 5, and the 2 will come up like every once in a blue moon, like right here, okay? So I've never seen a 1, I've never seen all 5 winning Powerball numbers in just one group like this, okay? I'm sure it will come up someday, I just haven't seen it yet, okay? So what I like to do is I like to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. Okay, so you can see that again that there's 7 groups total here. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess which one of these groups will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how you use this and how I made this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so the reason why I broke it down into 5 is for a couple reasons. When I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Okay, but my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa. Okay, so again, the strategy is to try to correctly guess which one of these groups will not have the winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so I'm going to make a prediction here, and I'm going to say that there's going to be no numbers of 1 through 9 coming up. Okay, and I don't think there's any numbers in the teen area. Okay, even though the 10, 11, 12 is in here, I call it the teen area. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate all these numbers off of my game card because I don't think they're going to be coming up. Okay, so let me blow this back up, and I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to eliminate the 1 through 9 numbers. Okay, so here's the 2, the 7, the 8, and the 9, and I'm also going to get rid of those teens, including the 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 17, the 18's already gone, and 19 right here. So I'll block those numbers out because I don't think that they're going to come up. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there has to be a majority of whether it's going to come up more even numbers or more odd numbers, okay? Or more numbers to the high side or more numbers to the low side, okay? So what I like to do is try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing, okay? So what I like to do is update this here, okay? I never got rid of this here, so let me erase this and let me go back to the game card. And again, I have odd number, odd, even, even, even. So 3 even numbers, 2 odds. Okay, so when I come back here, you already seen this before, but I got 2 odd numbers, 3 even. Okay, so when that happens, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this 388. This is how many drawings I kept track of so far. And basically, this goes back to October 7th, 2015. This is when the Powerball Lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? So I'm going to make this 188 now, okay? So out of 388 drawings, 188 drawings have been the majority of even numbers, okay? 200 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers, okay? So what I do is, you can see that I like to break things down into 5, just so it shows me that majority. So you can see out of these 5 drawings, the majority was even numbers, 4 drawings to 1, okay? And as I go back, it was odds, evens, odds, evens, odds, even, okay? So what I like to do is go back a little bit and then work my way back up. So you can see that it was evens, odds, evens, odds, evens, odds, evens. And now you can see it's going to be evens again here, okay? So the question is it going to go 5-0 for these evens? Or is it going to be more numbers to the odds now? Okay, so I had a hard time trying to guess here. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one alone. All right, so I'm going to work my way over to the next one, and this is high and low. Okay, so you can see that the last 4 drawings were the majority to the low side. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to since there was so many here to the low, I'm going to predict that the next drawing will have more numbers to this red area than the blue area. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that down just to remind myself what I picked. So I'm going to say that there's going to be more high numbers than low numbers. Okay, so moving on. This is left and right here. And what I'm going to do is, you can see that the last 15 drawings here have been the majorities of 4 to 1, 4 to 1, 4 to 1. Okay, but when you look through things, you can see that it usually comes up 3 to 2, a lot more than 4 to 1 here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that this is going to be 3 to 2 here. Okay, so that means I think that the majority of the numbers will be over here to the left side. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well. I think more numbers will be over here than over here. Okay. And one more thing I have here is this red and blue area. Okay. And I've been looking at this as well, and I can't seem to make a prediction. So I'm going to leave this one alone as well. So I don't have to pick out every single one of them. Okay. But I'm going to go with more high numbers and more numbers to the left side. Okay. So one last thing I have here in this 50-50 picks is for the Powerball itself. Okay. There's 26 red numbers total. Okay. So if you're looking at this column here, basically what I did is just divide the numbers in two. Okay. So if you see a blue number like this one, that means it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that means it's high, 14 to 26. Okay. So if you're looking at this column here, if you see a red number, that means it's odds. If you see a blue, that means it's evens. Okay, so why I do this is now I just have to look at the colors. Okay, so as I'm looking at this red over here, you can see that there's a bunch of single reds here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and now doubled up here, but I think it's going to keep on going red. Okay. So I think this next one is going to be red. So I think it's going to be a high number. Okay. And over here, I just see a lot of blue here. So I think that this is going to go back to red as well. Okay. So I'm going to look at just the high odd numbers. Okay. So I'm just going to concentrate on the 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, and 25 instead of all 26 numbers. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm going to go with. I'm thinking that it might go back to this 21 right here. Okay. Sometimes that happens, like this 26. You can see that came up, another number came up, and then the 26 came up. Okay. I'm thinking that might happen again with this 21 here. Okay. So we'll see what happens. Okay. So moving on to the next strategy. Strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all the numbers and I divided it into 4 different groups, and I put colors to these groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so let me do that right now. So again, the winning Powerball numbers were the 1, 5, 16, 22, and 54. Okay, so you can see that the 1 is here in the red, the 5 is in the blue, the 16 is in the blue, the 22 is in the blue, and the 54 is in the green. Okay, so again, there was 1 winning Powerball number in the red area, 3 in the blue area, no winning Powerball numbers in the orange area, and 1 in the green at 54. Okay, so when there's a hit, I color the background red for hot. And when there's a miss, I color the background blue for cold. Okay, so the object of the game is to try to eliminate groups of numbers. Okay, so the strategy here with this group 1 is try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, if I could have correctly guessed that none of these orange numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball Lottery. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this 110, and this tells me how many zeros there are in this column here, okay? And then over here in this blue, I'm going to make this 30, and that tells me that there's been 30 drawings in a row that one of these blue numbers have come up, okay? So that's a pretty long streak, okay? Now before this 30, the longest streak was 17, okay? So I'm expecting that this blue is going to miss at any time now, okay? So now what I want to explain here is that I have 15 of these option cards, okay? And again, this is option card number 1, and they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, and green for all 15 option cards here, okay? It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card, okay? So again, I have 15 of these option cards, and over here, I like to keep a statistics on the whole group, okay? So this is just all the red numbers for all 15 option cards, okay? The blue areas, the orange, and the green, okay? So you can see that here in the orange, I have a 6 with a blue behind it, okay? So what I did is I said to myself, I want to know where there's going to be at least 5 option cards with a 0 to it, okay? So anything more than 5 out of these 15 option cards with a 0 to it, I colored the background blue, okay? That will give me some separation, okay? So if it's 4 or less, I put I color the background red, okay? So I'll show you an example on this orange here. So here's one orange mark in the orange area. Here's 2. Here's 3, 4, 5, and 6, okay? So I'm going to hit the home button and it brings me right back, okay? So that's how I came up with this. So this gives me some separation, okay? So if I could correctly guess where this blue mark is going to be, then that's what I'm going to concentrate on where I think the zeros are going to be, okay? So you can see right here in this red area here, there's been 15 drawings in a row with no blue mark to it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and say that this next drawing is going to have a blue mark to it, so I'm going to just concentrate on the red areas on where I think that 0 is going to be, okay? So I'm going to start off with option card number 2. No red numbers here, okay? So the reason why I'm picking this is that you'll see that a 1 comes up a lot, okay? So over here in this red area, a 1 hasn't come up in a very long time. It's right here, okay? So as I work my way up with the other columns here, you can see that there's going to be plenty of 1s all the way around, okay? Again, it comes up a lot. Okay, so I'm going to predict that this is going to be a 1 right here, so I think the 0 is going to be right here, okay? So again, I don't think any red numbers are going to come up on this option card number 2, so I'm going to get rid of those numbers off of my game card. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the 58 and the 25 as well, and I'll explain that right now, okay? So you can see that I have these numbers right here, okay, and then I have these 5 numbers off here to the left side, okay? So when you look at group 1 here, you can see that there's no numbers over here to the left side. So basically what I call this is sharing the square, okay? So the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 with the 65, 58 with the 68, and the 53 with the 69, okay? So if I get rid of all these red numbers like I'm going to, okay, I'm going to get rid of the 25 and the 65 and the 58 and the 68 with all these other numbers as well as a group, okay? So this is just my way of grouping up numbers. So basically what I want is I want this grid right here where there's 8 squares across and 8 squares down, okay? But that only makes 64 numbers, and there's 69 numbers in the Powerball Lottery, okay? So that's how I came up with grouping these up. Okay, so moving on. The next one I'm going to do is option card number 4, no red numbers, okay? Now, the reason why I'm taking this one is because it's been 19 drawings in a row. And again, I'm just concentrating on the red areas, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these red numbers off of my game card. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to go back to this group 1. And the next one I'm going to pick is option card number 6, no red numbers. And the reason why I'm picking this one is because this one is 26 drawings in a row. And again, I'm focusing on the red numbers, so I'm going to get rid of all these red numbers off of my game card. So hopefully none of these numbers come up. Okay, and going back to group 1, I'm going to make another selection, and that's option card number 8, no red numbers. Okay, so here we go again with, I told you how a 1 comes up a lot. And you can see that this has the possibility of being a 1 here. So a 1 hasn't come up in a really long time over here, way down here, okay? So again, I think that this is going to be a 1 in this red area here. I think the 0 will be right here. We'll see what happens, and I'm going to get rid of these red numbers, okay? So I got the 1 going down to the 28. I get this bow tie looking thing. The 57 with these numbers, and the 40 with these numbers. Okay, so I'll get rid of this 28. I'll get rid of this 30. The 57 and the 43, 52, and the 40 and the 63. So hopefully none of those numbers come up, okay? Moving on, I got 2 more that I'm going to pick. I'm going to go with this option card number 9, no red numbers, okay? Now for some reason, a lot of times a number will repeat itself, like this 1 will follow a 1, okay? And if I work my way down, I'm sure I'll find something else. Like here, a 2 will follow a 2, okay? So I think that that's going to happen right here. I think here's a 2, and I think that it's going to follow with another 2 right here. So I'm going to get rid of these red numbers right here, okay? So the 1, 12, 17, 28, and then this pattern right here, and then this 57 again, so I know those numbers are gone, and then the 37 down to the 64. Okay, so all these numbers are gone, the 1, 12, 17, 28. I'll get rid of that 32. I know all these numbers are gone, and I'm going to get rid of the 55 and 64. Okay, so I got 1 more to go, and I'm going to choose this option card number 10, no red numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one is, you know, you can see that these zeros, they double up. Okay, and you can see that here's a long line of single zeros. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 single zeros. So I think it's going to double up like right over here. So I think the 0 will be here. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to get rid of all these red numbers, okay? The pattern of 2, 3, 26, 27 all the way around. So I get rid of the 35 and 59, 39 and 62. Okay, so hopefully all those red numbers will miss, okay? So I'm going to move on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers, okay? So much like group 1 where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups, okay? So it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers, okay? But the big difference here is, again, that I have 8 different color groups and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this as well, okay? So you can see that the winning numbers were 1, 5, 16, 22, 54, okay? So I have a red number, a purple, 2 brown, and a yellow, okay? So I'm going to go down and update this. So in the red area here, I had a hit, that 1. No winning Powerball numbers in the blue area. No winning Powerball numbers in the orange. No winning Powerball numbers in the green. I had 1 in that purple, the 5. I had 2 in the brown, that 22 and 54. I had no winning Powerball numbers in the gray area, and 1 in the yellow, that's 16, okay? So over here, I count how many groups it hit. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4 groups, okay? And the majority of the numbers are over here to this right side, so I colored this blue-green, okay, to let me know where the majority was, okay? So if I go back and I'm looking at this 5 for whatever reason, okay, this 5 right here, it's green, so I know that the majority of the numbers were over here to the right side, okay? So what I do now is, now I'm going to color this, all the ones that are on the verge here, I'm going to color yellow. Okay, so that tells me that it's right on the verge of either being hot or cold. So here, if the majority of the numbers are zeros, I color the background blue for cold, okay? So I'll color that one and this one. Now, if the majority of the numbers are hits like this, then I'm going to color the background red for hot. Okay, so let me go up to the top here, okay? So the reason why I did this is because we all know the lottery is random, right? So as I work my way down, this is what random looks like, okay? So when I see something like right here, where I see it's been really, really hot, well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? Now, if it were to stay hot all the time, then the numbers wouldn't be random, okay? So again, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm thinking that that this is going to be blue right here. So I think the 0 will be right here. And I'm thinking that it's going to be blue eventually, okay? So I'll get rid of this 0. And again, I think the 0 will be here. So I'm going to get rid of these red numbers off of my game card. The 1 down to the 57. Okay, and you can see that there's nothing here, okay? So that happens. So now here's the thing. I have 15 of these option cards as well, okay? And they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow, okay? Just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other, okay? So what I like to do is I like to keep an overview of this as well, like I did with that group 1. And this is in that group 1, okay? I don't want to confuse you here, but this is the overview for my group 2 numbers, okay? So you can see out of the 15 option cards in the last drawing, 10 of the option cards had a hit to it. 5 of the option cards had a miss to it, a 0 to it, okay? So the reason why I have 15 option cards is so it will show me the majority of things, okay? So I have 8 or more hits, I color the background red for hot. If I have 8 or more misses, I color the background blue for cold, okay? So here's the thing. You can see that the last 7 drawings have been really hot in this red area. So I think that this is going to be blue. So I'm expecting a lot of misses or zeros within these red areas for all 15 option cards. Okay, so let me go back to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to concentrate on the red areas. Okay, so one last thing I want to say about this is that the average for all 15 option cards, I have that here as well. This is right here, okay? So you can see that the last drawing had 57 hits to it and 63 misses. So I colored the background blue for cold because there was more misses than hits, okay? You can see this yellow was 60-60, okay? So basically what I'm trying to say here is with all this group 2, you have 120 options total, okay? And basically it comes out to an average of between like 3.8 and 4.2, somewhere around there. So it's right around 4. So what I'm trying to say here is on average, 4 of these groups are going to have a hit to it, and 4 of these groups are going to have a miss to it, okay? So on average, right now, I'm looking at a 50-50 guess, okay? So I went with the red, and there was no numbers to eliminate. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm not going to come back here and pick again on this option card number 1, okay? And the reason why is because my odds are going to go way, way up, then I'm going to get it wrong, okay? So I'm going to move on to the next option card where I have another 50-50 guess, okay? 50-50 chance of getting it right, okay? And again, I'm going to look at the red areas where I think that 0 is going to be. So I think the 0 is going to be right here as well. So I'm going to get rid of the red numbers here in option card number 2. So you can see on my game card, there's nothing to get rid of as well. But I'm going to go back to the next one. Option card number 3, I'm going to go with no red numbers as well. So here's the red over here. And again, I think the 0 will be right here. So we'll see what red numbers, the 4 down to the 28 and the 37 to the 61. So I'll get rid of that 20. The 69, 61, and the 53 shares that square with the 69, so I'll get rid of that as well. Next, I'm going to get rid of option card number 4, the red areas as well. I'm expecting a lot of zeros here, so I think the 0 will be right here. So I'll get rid of these red, and that's the 5 to the 66 and the 33 to the 36. So I'll get rid of that 36. Okay, so I'm really getting the numbers down here. I got 3 is 6, and 1 is 7, so I got 2 more numbers to get rid of here, okay? So the next one I'm going to do is option card number 5, no red numbers. So you can see that there was no numbers there, so I'm just going to move on to 6. Now here I actually think that there is going to be a hit here, okay? So as I work my way down, I'm kind of thinking that there will be a hit and not a 0 here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep on moving. I think there's going to be a hit here, so I'm going to leave that one alone. And then here with number 8, I think the 0 is going to be here on 8, so I'm going to get rid of these numbers. And that's the 5, 16, 21, 31. So I get rid of that 48. Hopefully that doesn't come up, okay? So I got one more number to get rid of here, okay? And I'm going to go to option card number 11. And that's the 6, 17, 35, 56. So I'll get rid of that 56. Okay, so that will bring me down to 5 numbers. Okay, so the numbers I'm going to go with are the 24, 44, 47, 51, and 60. Okay, so I thought more numbers will be to the high side on those 50-50 picks, and you can see that this is the high, okay? And I thought more numbers will be over here to the left side, and you can see that these 3 numbers will make that happen, okay? So I'm just going to color this red and highlight it. Okay, so again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 24, 44, 47, 51, and 60. Okay, so we'll see what happens. All right, so what are the odds that I made all the correct picks here? Okay, so let me talk about the odds for a second. All right. So the odds of getting the grand prize, okay, all 5 white numbers and the red number, the odds are 1 in 292 million that you'll get them all correct, okay? My goal is to get these 5 white ball numbers correct, okay? If I get the red correct as well, then bonus, okay? But the odds of doing that are 1 in 11,688,000, okay? So it's pretty steep, okay? So another nice prize is 4 white balls and a red ball. Okay, that pays 50,000 plus the power play. Okay, and the odds are just about 1 in a million of doing that. All right. So more realistic odds is getting 4 white balls correct. That pays $100 plus the power play. Okay, that's 1 in a little over 14,000. Okay, and then 3 white balls will pay $7 plus the power play, and that's 1 in 700. Okay, so if you get the white ball correct, I think that the odds are 1 in 26, I think it was, or 39. I forget. So one last thing I want to talk about is a budget. Okay, if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on the lottery. Okay, just want to let you know that. All right. So in closing, I just want to thank you for watching. If you like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Okay? And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.